So if I understand you correctly, even if this bill would pass, you still don't like payday lending and you would just like to see it eliminated 100%. Is that what I just take out of your last comment?
Yeah, much like Speaker Husted said, when the original bill passed, what we were after was a defective product. You know, that it's not the industry itself, the businesses, they could offer other products, they could reform their product, they could, you know, but this is a fundamental, a loan that's required full repayment at your next payday with very high interest is a defective product. But this bill addresses those issues. I mean, it makes the product cleaner, it makes for more legitimate forms of lending, and it's the appropriate regulation to impose.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Dyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is kind of the culmination of probably 2 years, well, 3 years of discussion on payday lending, first with 545, and there were competing bills with 545, so there were multiple hearings and multiple committees last General Assembly about the payday lending issue. There was an entire campaign last fall about the payday lending issue. There was I've sat on the Fires Committee, and there were at least 6 or 7 hearings on the original attempt to repair this bill. And now we've come to this, which is the result of those 6 or 7 hearings and fires and multiple interested party hearings and all of that. So would it be fair to say then that this payday lending issue has been pretty well talked out in the state of Ohio over the last 3 years?
Mr. Chairman, Representative, yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. I mean, this thing has been debated to death. I mean, it's been debated more than you debate almost any other issue. I mean, this not only was debated in the past General Assembly with many, many hearings, many, many different bills. In fact, there was Representative Lundy was part of a bill. There was the famous Hagen-Batchelder collaboration on a bill. There was Representative Yates had a bill. All of those bills were debated and discussed, and at the end of the day, Representative Widener came up with House Bill 545, and that cleared the committee. And then it was debated by every voting citizen in the state of Ohio. It was, you know, and to say that the message didn't get out, I mean, their side spent $20 million trying to persuade voters to keep the payday lending business product in place as it was prior to the passage of the bill. We fought them. We didn't have $20 million. We did everything we could with less than $500,000. And we won 2-1. So the voters saw through it, they decided, and the vote was overwhelming. In some counties, the vote was over 70% in favor of reining in the payday lending industry. But statewide, it was 64-36. And unless you represent Adams County, if you're going to stand up with the will of your voters, you stand up to close the loopholes in the payday lending industry.
Representative Dyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So just to follow up, so if we have another 3 or 4 hearings in here, although Representative Coley apparently wanted to move this out today, if we have another 3 or 4 hearings on this, do you think that that's sufficient given the 3-year or more history that we've had in this state with payday lending to say that, you know, these issues have been thoroughly vetted, not just in one, but several committees over a couple of general assemblies, not to mention the vote of the people?
Mr. Chairman, Representative, I'm not sure we need 3 or 4 hearings. I'm not sure what the point would be. I mean, you will hear, from my understanding from the notice of the chairman, There's a hearing tomorrow. Opponents of the bill have an opportunity to testify tomorrow. There may be a few more proponents testify, but the arguments aren't going to change. The arguments are going to be the same. They're going to be the same as they were last time, and frankly, you could have 25 hearings. The arguments aren't going to be anything different than what you hear between today and tomorrow. So I think that's sufficient. It's been debated. Now, for newer members, they may not have heard all of that discussion in the past, but certainly a couple of hearings, you're going to hear the arguments, and they'll get very repetitive if you have additional hearings.
Representative Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Welcome, I guess, to deja vu all over again then, here in Consumer Affairs this time. The first round, there ended up being bipartisan effort, support. I just glanced, it looks like about 30 of my friends on the other side of the aisle voted for it, and I know that there was efforts by Peter Batchelor, and I don't know if you know how he voted on that first cap and the 1804 vote, but I guess that's not really is this, and I understand why you wouldn't go and see where the industry side is on this, but you've had an opportunity to talk with folks on both sides of the aisle. Do you see a bipartisan support for this effort to fix some of those loopholes?
Mr. Chairman, Representative, that would be up to the legislature to determine what kind of vote there's going to be. But certainly, in talking to some members from the other side of the aisle, as you put it, some of the provisions, the way that some of the things that aren't in the bill that were in House Bill 209 are gone. That there was concerns about expanding Attorney General authority over these lending statutes. There was concerns about expanding some additional commerce regulation that was included in earlier drafts of the bill. And I think the place that we got to with once in 90 days, you could charge the origination fees and the credit check fee, that was negotiated. That was not entirely based on conversations with legislators. It was also based on conversations with other kinds of lenders that have operated traditionally under the Mortgage Loan Act or the Small Loan Act. So I think the representative did a good job of trying to go after the loopholes we see operating out in the field today, without interfering with other forms of legitimate lending that have been going on traditionally in the state. So I'm hopeful that there'll be a bipartisan vote. The bill was dropped yesterday, and I think a lot of people, like Representative Bacon said, are reading it and digesting and determining their position.